Max Kellerman is at it again. And I think this time, I finally understand why they called the nigga Mad Max. He might be a madman. But all jokes aside, he said Kawhi Leonard was more clutch than the Black Mamba. And you know my forum, if you're familiar with Dame's World. If not, subscribe to your boy. I respect anybody's opinion. And I tend to try to understand a motherfucker's opinion. But what I also understand is that these opinions come with implicit biases. So I didn't look at Max Kellerman's argument this time because I followed a pattern of his implicit biases as well as these pretty much journalists who regard to stats only and not the observation of the game, the experience of the game, but let alone don't even have the experience themselves to understand the severity of a certain situation to even call it clutch. Some people like Max, I'm assuming, I didn't even hear this argument, but I'm assuming Max Kellerman went straight to statistical numbers, something like Kawhi Leonard's numbers under a minute, or Kawhi Leonard's number under 5 minutes. Kawhi Leonard being a big-time player based on pieces of paper and numbers referencing certain instances. I don't know, fourth quarter stats, whatever he regarded to. And they probably were better than Kobe's on the numbers. But, again, I try to drill this, instill this in y'all head. There's a beauty in human experience. You can't take away the things you witness. You can't take away what the people have observed with their own eyes, their own too. You can't dictate clutch on statistical paper. You can't dictate what's a clutch bucket and what's not. It's super, super, super subjective. It's more subjective than scoring. It's more subjective than any of the other stats. A clutch situation. If somebody get a fast break bucket under 2 seconds and dunk, fast break, is it clutch to you? Does clutch constitute pressure just because it's under 5 seconds? Is that considerably a clutch bucket? You hit a game winner by yourself. Does that make you clutch for making a game winning dunk by yourself? Stats don't tell the full narrative. You have to witness and watch these games. And for me, Kawhi is great. Kawhi is brilliant. Kawhi is probably number 2 in the league right now next to Slim Reaper, in my opinion. Kawhi is probably the clutchest or the second clutchest player next to Slim Reaper, or third next to Kyrie, in my opinion. The reason why I don't have him over Kevin Durant, Kyrie, or Kobe, especially Kobe. Kobe's number 1 in my era, ever seeing it, for many reasons. The first reason is, the repertoire. Kawhi Leonard is methodical. He gets to his spots. He gets to his specific spots, particularly mid-range area, anywhere from 10 to 17 feet. He's looking to get that mid-range off, and particularly he's going to be fading right to where the contest is really null and void. It doesn't affect him as much. So Kawhi is very clutch when he gets what he wants. He gets a three-pointer towing the line, and within his comfort, he's very clutch. But Kawhi is somebody who can get easily out of his comfort. He's not an instinct type player. He's not a player who will make an adjustment on the whim. As such, he's so methodical that he looks like a fucking robot at times. Even from the same methodical move to the right, fade, from the knowing you not coming up off. I know exactly what Kawhi go do when he do it. At all times. It never deviates. Even when a nigga be like, even to the laugh, I know what Kawhi gonna do. So with that being said, the way to guard Kawhi is easier. And with that being said, if you don't have the individual one-on-one ability to create separation in space, sometimes you can provide yourself limited. Now, Kobe Bryant, No matter any situation, he can get a shot off, regardless. Had the repertoire, had every move in the bag. And if you look at Kawhi's moves, he has. Half of them are from Kobe, are taught to him by Kobe. So he got his bag from Kobe, specifically, his clutch bag from him. Now, mindset, I think Kawhi is getting aggressive, but I don't think it was always his natural state. Kobe, again, had a natural state of aggression and a natural state of considering pressure a non-factor. From the womb, from 17, as soon as we first saw him, he was never fearful of taking a shot. You talking about comparing Kawhi and Kobe, you got to talk about the timeline, the history. Kawhi Leonard, he wasn't always clutch. Kawhi Leonard wasn't always a first option to shoot for the Spurs. I would rather have Duncan or Tony Parker taking the last shot in Kawhi's early years. Now, the first finals he got clutch and he was hitting big shots, wide open shots. But that's another thing in terms of the case of clutch. Clutch to me has to imply some form of pressure. So if you're a third option as opposed to everybody in the building knows Kobe's going to get the ball. When Kobe played, everybody in the building knew Kobe was going to get the ball and everybody in the building thought he was going to make it. So to have that amount of expectation, Kawhi has yet to reach that. And that's not due to a hindrance of him. It's perception based. A lot of niggas seen Kobe hit a lot of crazy, immaculate shots to where he built that perception to where niggas think he can't miss it. He takes them all the time to where niggas think it's going up if it's him. Niggas expect him to do it, even with Shaq, without Shaq, even as a rookie. Kawhi Leonard, we've not seen him in the seat of number one option for that long. He had the first Spurs year without Duncan, which officially he was a number one, unquestionably, and this year in Toronto, and the year where he got injured. And he was clutch all those years. But his sample size ain't big enough. Aside from the fact that I don't think he has the moves, his left hand is still not consistent as far as getting the left shoulder and right shoulder off. He doesn't have deep ball range, so you talk about eliminating shooting from 35. I don't count on Kawhi to hit those type of clutch shots if we need you to extend the range, the defense is closing in. From the mid-range aspect, I can maybe concede that because he's one of the rawest mid-range artists I've ever seen, and he is clutch in that regard. But again, the sample size is too small. If this Philly series is one of the clutchest series he's been in, then it's hard to measure him versus somebody who's been to war 20 times. I can mention the Pacers series, Young 21 Jelly Bean, moments that Kawhi has yet to surpass, and it's particular standout moments because the scope and the lens is on you. The lens is on Kobe Bryant when he plays the Magic. It's like, all right, nigga, you ain't got 4. What you gonna do? If you don't get this, your whole reputation dwindles. And like I said, it's a form of mental pressure. It may not exist to some, but that's something some people have to deal with. Kawhi has been fortunate enough to not have to have faced that type of pressure, that type of situation, to be put in situations that may not appear clutch, but shit, if they can taint your legacy, it might essentially be clutch for you to provide and produce in that situation. Tough, difficult shots. Kobe hits difficult shots at a higher rate, what I consider to be difficult. Kawhi gets to his spot, and if he doesn't get to his spots, he won't jeopardize it by shooting over 2 people. He may do it sometimes, but it's seldom. Kobe is a maestro at tough shots, which is why you can't just regard the stats. Stats don't tell the tale. Stats don't tell you it's 3 seconds left. They just throw it into Kobe and he shoot over 2 people because he got to. Stats tell you, okay, under 5 minutes, fourth quarter, he shoots 44%. That's what you deduct from stats. You can only get so little with stats. And that's what I'm assuming Max did. He ran to the numbers. Same way niggas will say Iverson ain't efficient. You know what I'm saying? Iverson ain't clutch. Because you see his numbers, his efficiency numbers, and they don't conceivably seem clutch on paper. But you don't factor in Iverson's been the number one option for his whole life. Iverson's had the defenses surrounding him his whole life. Iverson is going to be the one taking a shot his whole life. Same as Kobe. So, it's levels to this shit for me. And Kawhi is my nigga, but he's a tier 2 clutch player. I don't just... Alright. I've just started getting the notion of give it to Kawhi and get out the way. And even then, I'm still skeptical because of his monotonous manner. He doesn't have the instinct to change his wiring, change his program, to adjust on the fly. Okay, the nigga blocked my left. Do I got a behind the back right? He might have a slow ass spin. You know what I'm saying? He's developing the game, but it's levels to this shit. You got Jordan, you got Mamba, you got, I think, Kevin Durant, I think Pierce, I think Carmelo, as far as just give him the rock and go. Kawhi Leonard, he's up there, but I don't think he has the repertoire just yet to be considered on their level, in spite whatever the production entails. And I don't think he's had enough individual situations. I seen Kobe do too much. That's another thing that caters to my bias. I seen too much. You can't take away what a nigga seen. I seen way too much from Kobe, and I haven't seen enough. And it's not at the fault of Kawhi. He's dope, but he hasn't been in the circumstances to. He hasn't been in as many clutch circumstances to prove and show his demo. You know what I'm saying? So my reply is just towards Max and the statisticians of the world. Observe the game, and maybe your statements won't look as outlandish to basketball heads and basketball purists or people with experience in the game. Because when you make these type of statements solely based on stats, it's gonna get you fucked up. And that's it. What's your thoughts? Is Kawhi clutcher than Kobe? If you someone of any basketball experience, you probably gonna say no. If you're a stat head, a statistician, you're probably gonna say yes. It's all based on your appeal and your biases. If you're both, then who knows what you say. Maybe you're the first completely objective nigga in the world. But just let me know. It's your boy Dane. Peace.